Hey everyone, so I wanted to talk about something a little bit different today. I'm not doing a lucid dreaming video and I'm also not doing a AI art video. Although don't click off just yet if you are interested in lucid dreaming, because while that's not at all the subject of this video, the subject of this video will still help you lucid dream. Today I just want to talk about simplicity and how sometimes we can sort of overlook the simple things that can be quite important. So this morning, after I got up, I had my breakfast, I meditated for a bit, listened to the birds outside, and then after that, I simply made myself a cup of tea, and I sat with a cup of tea, and I watched the planes flying overhead. And that was it. For like half an hour, all I did was I watched the planes from the nearest airport fly overhead. And that was something that I haven't done since I was a little kid. When I was a little kid, I used to love doing that. I would sit in the garden and I would just watch the planes flying overhead and like watch the trails they left behind and watch the trails start to like dissipate as the plane went further away and the shapes that it would form and that. And as a kid, that was all that I needed. I didn't need anything fancy. I didn't need to be like highly stimulated by 1,000,001 TikTok videos. I didn't need, something to be like adrenaline filled or super exciting for me to be entertained. I could just sit and I could just look up at the clouds and watch the clouds or watch the planes flying overhead, and I was happy, I was content, and I was at peace. But I sat there today doing exactly the same thing, and I felt all of those same emotions, all of those same feelings come over me, and it struck me that I have spent so much of my life forgetting these little simple pleasures, these little things that we used to enjoy when we were kids that have become overshadowed by our constant striving for more and more stimulation. We always want, the next best thing. I'll confess another one that I do all of the time, and you might be guilty of this as well. If you are, put down in the comments below if you're one of these people. Do you do this? When you make some food, you make that food and then you pull up in front of your computer or the TV so that you can eat it while you're watching something. Who here is guilty of that? I certainly am. I do that every single time that I eat. So what I did just now when I just had my last meal was I didn't do that. I just sat down, focused on my meal and enjoyed the meal. And it was so much more enjoyable for that because I wasn't doing all of these things at once. And I know what some of you might be thinking at this point because I've heard these words from other people before and I've then come back with this argument, which is, well, I just don't have time. If I'm eating at one time and I'm watching another time, I'm spending twice as much time on those things than if I'm doing them at the same time. And, I have other responsibilities and things that I need to get done in the day. So I don't just have all of the time to do all of these things, and especially not to, sit and watch planes fly overhead for half an hour while I'm slowly sipping a cup of tea and doing nothing else. Normally I would want to be having that cup of tea while I'm getting started on my work for the day, or while I'm doing something productive, or while I'm chatting with a friend or whatever. But then the question that I asked myself recently is why? Before I say anything more on that, really think on that. Why? Aren't you doing all of these things to some degree for pleasure at the end of the day, to enjoy them, to be happy, to be content? If you're, eating and watching Netflix at the same time, you're doing that because you want to enjoy those things. If you're playing a video game, you're doing that because you want some enjoyment out of it. Even at the end of the day, your work and your responsibilities are there so that you can get them out of the way so that you can then have more time to enjoy yourself and more money to be able to live a more comfortable life with more of those things that you enjoy. So if you can learn to unwind a little bit, step back a little bit, not overcomplicate things and enjoy things simply without needing to be doing, 12 things at once, without needing to be stimulated all the time. If you can just enjoy sitting with a cup of tea and watching the clouds or watching the planes overhead or listening to the birds outside, then surely if you're getting contentment from that, you don't need anything more. And so what if it means that you watch your Netflix show a bit slower than you normally would? Well, doesn't that just mean that it's going to last you a bit longer? And it will be longer before you're in that dreaded stage of trying to figure out what show it is that you want to watch next and, reading a bunch of people's opinions or asking all your friends what shows they recommend next, or going through a bunch on Netflix only to find that, hey, the ones that you click through you don't really like. And then finally you find something, but you've wasted all this time to get there. What if you just watched the show a little bit slower in the first place and enjoyed it for longer because you weren't so focused on doing all of these things at once? And what if when you pick up a book or you pick up a new game or whatever, you didn't set your sight on, the end goal of finishing it? You just got in and you did what you liked. You explored the game. You went and did all of the side quests rather than going straight for the main quest. You basically just did the things that felt good to you at the time, and then if something wasn't feeling good to you, closed out the game. What if every time that you played games was like that, instead of, going out achievement hunting and trying to complete it as fast as possible so you can move on to the next one? And what if when you picked up some kind of self-help or self-improvement book or course, rather than simply going through it, trying to get to the end of it, you actually took the time to fully understand each chapter, what you're reading, and applying the techniques in there, rather than just going, okay, I need to get to the end so I can start on the next book and somehow improve myself, even though I'm not applying any of the things in this book. Now, some of you are probably already meditating every day, and if you're not, I'm not sure how long you've been with this channel, but if it's any longer than a few days, I'm not sure why you haven't started meditating, because it's something that I go on and on and on about on this channel. Whether you're here for lucid dreaming, whether you're here because you want to just improve your day-to-day life, meditation is probably one of the core habits that you could possibly have. And the purpose of the kind of meditation that I've advised people to do here, which is where you simply sit and watch your breath, is really that. It's to do something really simple. It's to just sit for a while and not be all caught up in worries and wondering about your day, not caught up in a million activities that are stimulating you this way and that way, to just be sitting there and to just get comfortable with just your breath and nothing else. If you are someone that does this, you're already going to be noticing just how useful and effective this is, to actually just take some time to sit like this every day. But don't just limit it to when you're meditating. Do it in other ways. Like I said, just sit with your cup of tea and just enjoy it for a little bit. Or listen to the birds for a while. Or go for a short walk where all you do is look around and explore some places that you haven't been before. Or be present with the meal that you're eating rather than being focused on some other media while you're eating it. You're going to find if you take this approach to life that you're becoming more present all throughout the day now, not just when you're sitting down to meditate. And when you do that, that's going to have the same benefits as with meditation. You're going to find that you feel happier and better throughout your whole day. You're also going to find that you get some lucid dreaming benefits from that, because if you're more aware and more present throughout your day, you are in fact going to have more lucid dreams. And it's going to be a positive self-perpetuating cycle, because as you have less complicated things in your life, less things to worry about, that's less thoughts to jump around your mind all the time, sending you this way and that. Your mind is going to be a lot quieter and calmer, and it's going to be easier to just be present and not be caught up in future or past all of the time. Anyway, this is just a subject that's kind of been on my mind a lot lately, and so I thought I would make a quick video about it. I hope you enjoy, I hope you find this helpful, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and enable all notifications if you want to stay up to date when my new videos come out. And if you want to keep watching, check out one of the videos on screen, go watch that, and I'll see you there soon. Take care.